Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Eat, drink, party harder.
I love Bend and Scoop, man.
You want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. Well, how about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, Bend and Scoop. Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit. Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea.
Welcome to episode 57.
Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Visit one of the 5 great Harder Concepts locations in DFW, which include Scruffy Duffy's and Ringo's Pub, both at the shops at Legacy and Plano, Saintsbury Tavern at Austin Ranch and the Colony, the Mucky Duck at Addison Circle in Addison, and Addison Ice House at Vitruvian Park in Addison. All 5 Harder Concepts locations have great food, live music, an amazing beer and spirit selection, and a wait staff that's second to none. Whether you want to hang out with old friends or meet some new ones, there's no better place to get together and watch your favorite sports or hear some awesome tunes. Eat, drink, party harder. Joining us at the end of the show to play a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer? And the Groovin' After Party will be our very special guests, twin brothers Travis and Quentin Self from the No Filler podcast. We spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite neighborhood record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomandPop. Our record store of the week is a personal favorite of our special guest Quentin, Easy Street Records in Seattle. You can follow them on Twitter at EasyStRecords, on Instagram and Facebook both at Easy Street Records, and you can check out their website at EasyStreetOnline.com. Our first track is going to be from Richard Rose. This is off their 2020 album Radiation Breeze. It's called Red Telephone.
Raise it a lady. once I saw a gun and said I want it. This felon stole my heart and wallet. We're posers, thrill seekers, and targets. That's all we got while in college. Tip for scraping, change, not knowledge. Squeaky, Lammy, Potsy, and Mushmouth. Best friends forever. Give a shout out.
That was the Pride of Kalamazoo, Michigan, a band called Minutes. From their self-titled debut album in 2016, that was Misforgotten. Plausible Deniability is a monthly podcast I co-host with my pal David Miller, which you can follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Pause Deny. We post new episodes on the first day of every month. From Sudbury, Ontario, here's a band called Danny Lage and the Looks. From 10 Easy Pieces, their brand new album here in 2021, this is Pick It Up.
You know, I just can't get a handle on the Middle East.
It's a swamp. A real mess. Don't you think so, Vin?
Yeah. And it's a swamp. You think, honey?
That it's a swamp?
Yeah.
Hey, absolutely.
A swamp with many levels of political overtones and resonances that can't be fathomed at the present time, but need the distance of the future to give it a perspective so you can truly have a point of view and realize the viscosity of that quagmire. And the only way to understand this is to realize that it's incomprehensible.
Hey, how about Beirut, huh?
What do you know about Beirut?
Beirut. He the best damn baseball player ever lived.
To help. I've enjoyed all the revelry as far as my heart can tell. There's nourishment elsewhere, not in barnbrack hell. Nose to chin, I blush the insults all in all. This gift from Belfast loaded down with hot dough. Cakes on Henry Street ain't cheap at 2 and 4. My jelly's worth it, though I hope that he's not Joe. Oh, here's our Maria, a catastrophe. Little brats fall to teasing an older novelty. Traditions are tough for a spinster on Halloween. I felt clay between fingers, unfitting comedy. I got ripped off by an old man on the tram. These Protestants aren't bad when you get to know them. The skirts laid out at home, pressed neatly on the bed. For now at parties here, my face keeps turning red. Ask me to sing for you after all that I have been through while I dug petty judgments coming fast. My pocket's heavy with a prayer book, as if life in a convent is the cure for beating death. And I don't dream of suitors, no one is on his knees. Don't pledge your faith to me. I'll skip the second verse and repeat the first.
That was Soccer Team, appropriately named for a band from DC, home of Football Team. That was from their 2015 album Real Lessons in Cynicism, and the song was Nose to Chin. Campfire Songs is a podcast where I get together with my buddies Todd, Jim, and Tom to share and discuss songs with each other. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Songs Campfire and give us a listen for more great music. Here's a band from Western Massachusetts called Laika's Orbit. This is from their 2019 album Chosen No Ones. The song is Lucky Ones.
Couldn't get radio, new presidents. That's all.
You know just what to do when I look at you, and I don't wanna go. They call me on the phone and won't leave me alone when I don't wanna go. Doesn't matter what they say, 'cause I'm gonna get my way if I don't wanna go. He's not looking at me right. She just wants to start a fight, and I just wanna go. Things that I did before, I don't do them anymore, 'cause I don't wanna go. Doesn't matter what they say, 'cause I'm gonna get my way if I don't wanna go. I wish there was a sign I could wear all the time to let 'em know I'm taken as can be, and when you're here with me, if you heard about me, you know what you're gonna see if I don't wanna go. Watch yourself and think twice, 'cause I don't play very nice if I don't wanna go. Doesn't matter what they say, 'cause I'm gonna get my way if I don't wanna go. Doesn't matter what they say, 'cause I'm gonna get my way if I don't wanna go.
From her self-titled debut album back in 2017, that was Coco Hames with I Don't Wanna Go. Have you ever wanted to host a podcast? Well, all you have to do to join the Mike Hunt and host your very own episode of Assume the Juxtaposition is send me your topic idea to lukewarmtallboy@gmail.com. You can follow Assume the Juxtaposition on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at AssumeTJPod. This is Ian Ferguson from Nashville off his 2019 album State of Gold. This is Worried Walk.
Hey,
for football pictures like you could.
Oh, my God.
Just give me that one. Give me that one where you're stiff arming the tackler and your right arm is cocked for the quick release.
Jack, you can't play that game again.
And you know what Shooty'd say to that?
The words of Lucifer.
Are you horny to win? Come on, you commie pissant. Let's play some football.
Well, there is only one reason I stop in this place. Let me stress it, it ain't the cuisine. The eggs are all running, the hash browns smell funny, the coffee tastes like gasoline. But there goes the one thing that I've been looking forward to for the last 600 miles. In a slow motion pan, 8 beers in each hand, what's here of heaven in her smile. She's the prettiest waitress in Memphis, and I think she's flirting with me. Been reading them specials, extra special. Slip the finger into my sweet tea. Oh, but a small stack of singles from a hard double shift will do terrible things to a smile. And the prettiest waitress in Memphis knows she's only that way for a while. Somehow she remembered my name, though it's been several months since I passed through this way. She said she's lived here all of 23 years. I said I'd be here for a day. Ordered the pecan pie and the wink of an eye. Got a slice as big as my head. And her name and her number on a sweet and low package is the best poem that I've ever read. She's the prettiest waitress in Memphis, but I know she's flirting with me. Been reading them specials, extra special. Slip the finger into my sweet tea. Oh, but a small stack of singles from a hard double shift will do terrible things to a smile. And the prettiest waitress in Memphis knows she's only that way for a while. Prettiest waitress in Memphis, she spilled her heart all over me. In a way she was right. As I held her that night, she said this'll all change eventually. 'Cause she ain't the prettiest waitress in Memphis no more. But it's not what you're thinking, you see. The prettiest waitress in Memphis just quit, and she's leaving Memphis with me. The prettiest ex-waitress in all of Memphis is leaving Memphis with me.
That was Corey Brannon from Memphis singing about the prettiest waitress in Memphis from his 2006 album 12 Songs. How Many is a podcast where I get together with my friends Jesse, Junior, Gary, and Scott to debate a variety of pop culture topics, including movies, sports, TV, music, and more. You can follow How Many on Twitter at HowManyPodcast and listen at HowManyPodcast.com. And don't forget to stick around for the end of the show when we'll be joined in the Groovin' After Party by our special guests Travis and Quentin from the No Filler podcast. Here's another act from Memphis with another song about Memphis. It's Jack Oblivion and the Dream Killers from 2019's Lost Weekend. This one is called Guido Goes to Memphis.
Hello, this is Michael Nesmith again with the First National Band, and RCA Victor asked me if I wouldn't mind doing a little bit different commercial than the one I did last time for our new album, Loose Salute. That's it still playing in the background, so I said I would. This time what I'd like to do, you see, is tell you about an album of electronic music by Morton Subotnick called Silver Apples of the Moon. I never really have liked electronic music, but a friend of mine turned me on to this particular album, and it's really something different. Subotnick gives electronic music sort of a new dimension. It's on a small label, might be hard to find, but I think if you do find it and listen to it, you'll really like it a lot. It's I've run out of time again, so what I'll do is talk to you on the next First National Band commercial, if there is one.
That was LA's Smokescreens from their 2020 album A Strange Dream. That was Working Title. If you want to listen to all this great music without having to hear me ramble between songs, be sure to check out our Bend and Scoop Spotify playlist. If we played it and they have it, you can listen to it there. And if you enjoy listening to what we do here on Bend and Scoop, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really enjoy what we do here at Bend and Scoop and would like to show your support, please feel free to drop a little something in our virtual tip jar at patreon.com/bendscoop. You know, it's been a rough couple of years, but hopefully soon we'll once again experience the best of times.
Everyone has something in their life they wish they could do over.
You dropped the ball.
You dropped the ball. I've simply been known as the man who dropped the ball.
Jack Dundee did something so awful.
You remember, Reno remembers, the whole goddamn town remembers.
Okay, I remember.
I knew it!
So humiliating. So unforgivable.
Get out!
He'll never live it down.
Jack, you got no shame at all.
His only chance is to live it over.
You can't rewrite history.
Why not?
It's an unnatural act.
Jack, there is no such thing as an unnatural act. I should know.
I've just come up with the big idea.
You're going to replay what game?
Jack, you can't play that game again.
I am throwing down the gauntlet.
Ow!
We can raise Taft out of lethargy.
You think Taft's lethargic?
You're damn right it is. Proud of it.
We accept the challenge.
Let's play some football.
You're torturing me!
I come up with the meaning of life and you call it torture?
Jackie's out of the house.
Mr. Weasel's here.
That is gross, Dad.
He changed his life and the town forever.
Are you horny to win?
What do you think?
I think it's pathetic.
Makes a grown man want to cry.
Robin Williams, Kurt Russell,
What do I do now? Be cool. Be what?
the best of times.
Look at all that phony pseudo-macho posing. They look great. Yeah.
I'm having a ball.
Things I look in the eye, say things I really go my way. About as much as I'd expect, and don't think I could take another day. So to the memories, to the worst times of my life, though they are gone, see them in my reflection and it troubles me and I never meant to be so dumb, and I never really had much fun. Memories so on me, sometimes feel like there is no escape. Might as well propose a toast to the times I hate the most. So here's to the memories, here's to the worst times of my life, though they are gone, see them in my reflection and it troubles me and I. So here's to the worst times of my life. So it's to the memories, it's to the worst times of my life, though they are gone, see them in my reflection and it drove me and I. So it's to the choices, the ones that made me feel like I was gonna die, though they were wrong, went beyond that equation. I've been worried, I've been tried. So it's to the memories, it's to the best of times, it's to the worst times of my life.
People listen to people. So listen, people.
Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Joining me now for our Groovin' After Party here on Bend and Scoop are Travis and Quentin from the No Filler podcast. Welcome, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Bob. How's it going?
Going great. I think you guys may be the first pair of siblings I've had on. So
now,
this is...
I know for a fact that we're the first pair of twins. Oh, we are twin brothers. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, can you tell?
Yeah. Actually, you can tell. You can tell.
If you look
Quentin's
close enough,
you're kind of obscured by the mic, so it was like, yeah.
And this mustache, am I right?
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm starting to gain a mustache over here too. So.
Definitely identical twins for sure.
Came from the same egg.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
That's exactly how that works. So tell everybody about No Filler.
So I guess we could go far back before No Filler. Travis and I had a music blog that we ran for about, 5 or 6 years back in the early O's called New Dust. It was an indie music blog. We ran that with a good buddy of ours. His name's Josh. We would just bring like bands that we love and just do a little write up on them, share some tunes, blog format. And that blog just kind of died out. And then maybe a couple of years went by and we decided, well, let's just keep doing this in a podcast format. And No Filler is basically us just sharing our favorite tunes from albums that we love, but only non-singles from those albums. That's the whole point, is to just share music that you may not have heard before from bands that you love because they're not singles. So you may not have heard them on the radio, stuff like that.
Yeah, I listened to a recent episode you guys did on French Kicks because I'm a fan of French Kicks.
Cool.
And matter of fact, you guys made a point of kind of mentioning how they got lost in the shuffle of that whole era, the Strokes and Walkman and some of those bands. I personally like French Kicks more than the Strokes and Walkman, so I was glad to hear y'all did Swimming, which was, I guess, their last album.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And yes, that chorus is catchy AF. That was the suitable usage of AF.
It's the only way to describe it.
I'll allow it.
But yeah, so interesting. I hadn't stumbled upon them until recently. So Quentin and I, we sort of came into the right, like we were the perfect age when the Strokes hit and all those garage bands hit. We were like 13, 14 when that hit. So we were all over the Strokes and Interpol and that whole scene. French Kicks wasn't on my radar at all, but I kind of stumbled upon them maybe the last few years. And I kind of agree with you. They do things that bands like the Strokes and Interpol just didn't do. They have a kind of a different approach, and I really appreciate that aspect of them. Especially Swimming. That record is kind of special in that way.
Yeah, and I think Strokes and Interpol especially, I love them. They have their sound, and it's kind of their trademark sound, and they don't really deviate too far away from it. I mean, the Strokes have kind of had a little bit on a couple of records where maybe it was a little bit of a change of course for them. But yeah, whereas I do think with French Kicks, that's them when you hear them, but they're not as constricted by their own self-constructed template, for lack of a better term,
Yeah, and you always have to wonder, like, how much of that is the record label? Because maybe if you don't have that much attention on you, like a French Kicks or something like that. I mean, that's kind of what happened with their last album. It sounds like they were able to be a little bit more creative and whatnot, and maybe that's because they didn't have a major label demanding a giant, massive single, or maybe they did, but probably not to the extent that the Strokes or Interpol did, right?
Yeah, and I love that nugget you guys threw in there about that. I think it was the singer or whoever, one of the band members is now like an executive with Etsy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's an odd career change.
Yeah, kind of a weird, not exactly a lateral move there, but
no,
gotta respect the guy.
Yeah,
he's probably counting all that money right now. So
yeah, he probably made more on his first paycheck at Etsy than he did the entire time they were in French Kicks.
Probably,
without a doubt. Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, guys, let's learn a little bit more about your own personal musical journeys, which may be somewhat similar, being identical twins and growing up together and all that. But we'll find out in what we like to call, is that your vinyl answer? And we will start off and ask you both. I guess we'll go ahead and start with Quentin, since we're going to go in alphabetical order for this one. What's the first record you remember buying with your own money? And was it different than the one Travis got, or did you guys kind of communally buy things at that age?
The first CD that I remember buying with my own money, and by my own money, I mean allowance that my mom gave me.
Sure, yeah.
There Is Nothing Left to Lose by Foo Fighters. And
good one.
Yeah, I bought it at, here's a throwback, Blockbuster Music. You remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Our older brother, Spencer, was a huge Foo Fighters fan, still is, and he got us into them at an early age. I think he had was it a self-titled, the one with the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had basically a Dave Grohl.
It was Dave Grohl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spencer had that. That's our older brother. He had that CD. So I was already a Foo Fighters fan. And yeah, I picked up that CD probably only just because of hearing the single, right? On MTV, probably.
Yeah.
But man, I fell in love with that CD. I think that's still my favorite Foo Fighters CD from their vast catalog. I always go back to There's Nothing Left to Lose.
And that happens a lot where the entry point, the first album you hear in a band's catalog ends up being your favorite.
Almost every time. Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like you always remember your first date with your wife or something like that. It's almost like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the first
Right.
time you experience that band, you know what I mean? And it's kind of special in that way.
Yeah.
Definitely. Travis, what about you?
So if I remember correctly, it was Third Eye Blind's self-titled record. And again, very similar reason, like Quentin was saying, our brother was a huge, he was a few years older than us and he was into grunge. So we heard Smashing Pumpkins and Stone Temple Pilots and all that kind of stuff through him. And so naturally I'm going to gravitate to, Third Eye Blind's not a grunge band, but I'm just saying like that 90s rock stuff that he was into. So I think I picked it up because I wanted Semi-Charmed to Life or one of the other singles off that record. And I just wanted to hear that song basically. But yeah, I remember that. It's a great record. If you go back and listen to it, it's a great record. I got to say, I'm not a huge Third Eye Blind fan. Like when I look back and look at all the bands that that have stayed with me, but I just remember that record being my first record that I purchased with my own money. But yeah, we credit our brother for kind of getting us into the heavier side of rock at an early age,
Yeah, we were just a little too young for that at that time.
But we heard
I feel like we would have missed Smashing Pumpkins. We would have missed Rage Against the Machine. We would have missed Presidents of the United States of America if it wasn't for our older brother Spencer. So
you mentioned, Quentin, that you bought that one at Blockbuster Music. Do you still have it, the Foo Fighter CD?
I don't have it. I don't have any of the relics of my youth. Nothing lasted this long. And unfortunately, I wish I still had some of that stuff. None of it. Absolutely. The only thing that I brought with me up to Washington were my records.
Okay.
Which
at least you held on to those.
And I didn't start collecting vinyl until I was in my 20s. So
yeah. Now, Travis, that Third Eye Blind, did you get that at Blockbuster also, or was that kind of your go-to back then?
It may have been like a Sam Goody or something like that, or there are some CD shops in you might know this mall I'm talking about, Bob, the Vista Ridge Mall.
Oh yeah, in Louisville. Yeah,
in Louisville. I think it was a CD store.
I think now it's called Music City Mall, which
isn't that weird. Funny that it's called Music City? Yeah. But no,
what?
Really bizarre. Somebody bought it, and I guess their idea was to have live music in the. Do you remember that place where the fountains were? Right, like right near the elevators and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like they do live music and stuff like that. So I guess their idea was like, let's call it Music City, but it's
terrible idea.
Like, this is still an old mall. You know what I mean? Like they haven't done anything to really make it special other than just calling it Music City. But
yeah, that was the oldest mall in that area 15 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. It's still the oldest mall.
Yeah.
It'll be gone soon.
What's your go-to these days for vinyl? I know, Travis, you and I were talking about Josie before Quentin hopped on.
I'm repping my Josie shirt because anytime I go back down to Texas to visit Travis and the family, we hit up Josie Records. But up in Seattle, Easy Street Records is one of my favorites, and Sonic Boom Records as well is really great. There's a chain up here called Silver Platters, which is also great. Really good prices for their records. Man, there's so many. I can't even think of them off the top of my head, but there's a lot of great record stores up here. I'm very fortunate.
But if I can name drop a couple other places, there's a shop in downtown McKinney. So it was Groovy Coop, and then they bought Red Zeppelin, or they turned that. I guess they had a record section in Groovy Coop, and they basically took that section and just opened another shop called Red Zeppelin. So same guys that ran Groovy Coop. But I go there anytime I'm in downtown McKinney. And then oddly enough, there's a vinyl shop at Stonebriar Mall now called ZT Records.
Yeah, they just moved from the Frisco Mercantile, I think. Recently. Yeah,
which is kind of funny. I never thought I'd see a vinyl shop in a shopping mall, but
no.
But anyway,
the overhead's insane. I don't know how they're able to do that.
Right. I was actually in there on Record Store Day, and they had a pretty good amount of people in there. So
I'm wanting to check that out. I haven't been since they moved.
They had it was like an import or something like that, but like an early pressing of Black Sabbath's first record, and I almost bought it, but the price point was like, I don't know about that. But anyway, I was kind of impressed to see that. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
They have the good stuff on the wall behind their register, by the way. If you want to, if you need to know exactly where to go, just look up on the wall behind the guys.
That's like that spot to the left of the register, or to the right, depending
at Josie,
on where you're standing at Josie. Yeah,
that's where the good stuff is. If you got some spending money, go to those two places.
Yeah, if you have an unlimited budget, that is the section for you.
Exactly. Yeah. If you made some money off of Dogecoin, go there. I did not make money off of Dogecoin yet. I'm in
No
debt.
comment. No comment.
Quentin, what would you say is the artist you own the most albums by, and which of theirs is your favorite?
Oh man.
Let's see if we have the same answer, Q.
Wow. I don't think the Beatles count, but I think technically
Sure.
I have the
Why
most
wouldn't they?
Beatles. Well, because I don't know, they're easy to come by in the vinyl world. So I will say this: as far as actual physical, media, the only thing I have now is vinyl, and I'm really picky when I'm buy vinyl these days. The answer is the Beatles. I have Sgt. Pepper's, I have Let It Be, I have Rubber Soul. They're the ones that I've got the most of in vinyl for sure. Second to that would be Spoon, and Travis, that might
there
be
you
your
go. Now
answer.
you're
Yeah,
talking.
that might be your answer, Trav. I've got 3 of their records as well.
Which 3 do you have? I wonder if they're the same ones I have.
I have Girls Can Tell, I have Gimme Fiction, and I have Kill the Moonlight.
Nice. My all-time favorite album is A Series of Sneaks.
Nice.
I have that. I have Girls Can Tell, and that may be the only 2 I have. Next, if I'm going to get one next, it's going to be Ga 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 Ga. I'm going to make sure I count.
You always have to remember how many.
No, you left out one of the Gas, by the way.
I left out one of the guys. So, Quentin, before we move on to Travis on this one, what Beatles album is your favorite, and which Spoon album is your favorite?
I think Revolver might be my
Yes.
favorite. Yeah. Either that or Let It Be, just because, at that point in time with the band, I mean, they were all doing their separate things at that point, but the songs on that record are just something else. For Spoon, probably have to say Kill the Moonlight, just because that's the first album of theirs that I fell in love with, probably in the early 2000s. I think around the time it came out.
I know exactly when it came out. It was released my youngest son's birthday. He was born the day that album came out, and I was like, wow, this is an easy way to remember.
And what year was that?
2002.
Okay,
August of 2002.
It might be a tie between that.
High school. That's how old that album is.
It might be a tie between that and Hot Thoughts. I actually really like Hot Thoughts.
Yeah. I think of the more like the last 4 or 5 of theirs, that's probably my favorite as well.
Yeah, and that speaks to how great Spoon is, and that they're one of our favorite bands of all time, forever and always, top 5 forever.
Yeah. They've never put out a bad album. I had a very brief rough patch with Transference after it came out, but I grew to love that as well. So
yeah. I'm with you on that one. That's my least favorite of the bunch.
It was not the most immediate of their records to grab onto.
Yeah,
but there are some killer tracks on Transference, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you look back at it.
Who Makes Your Money is probably my favorite.
Who Makes Your Money? Yeah.
Love that song.
Out Go the Lights is great.
It's a great one. Written in Reverse is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Britt Daniel can do no wrong.
He really can't.
And Jimmy, right?
And apparently they've got one in the can. They're just waiting to release it. So
awesome.
Yep.
Good to hear.
To that.
Well, now I'm curious about Travis's answer.
Yeah, me too.
Well, get ready to not be surprised, because the answer is Spoon. I actually have more records than both of you guys. So I've got you beat. I've got
on Spoon.
I've got Girls Can Tell. I've got Kill the Moonlight. I've got Gimme Fiction. That's where I stopped. So I got their first 4, I guess. But then I've also got a few of the little singles. So I've got Nothing is what it's called, and I've got another one. I think Love Ways, and then I have one called
Love Ways is good. That's an EP. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was one of those things where when I started collecting vinyl, Spoon was like my all-time favorite band. And so I would just, anytime I saw a Spoon record, I would just grab it. That's why I have some of those little EPs and stuff. But yeah, like Quentin said, the Spoon will always have a special place in our hearts as far as like the kind of band that they are. Like we all agreed just now, they can do no wrong, it seems, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of the first indie band that we really got into, if we can use that label, right, on them. But yeah, I think if I were to pick a favorite Spoon record, I think it's Girls Can Tell. I love the mood of that record.
That was the first one of theirs I ever heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's just something about that record. It's got a darker mood to it, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I always gravitate toward darker stuff.
Stuff like Chicago at Night. And
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The way that they started incorporating the piano, I think is really, it really started in Girls Can Tell.
That's the first album. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. We've actually done episodes on, I think, all the way up to Ga 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 Ga, right? Q?
Yeah. We do Series of Sneaks all the way to Ga 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 Ga.
Oh, I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, Series of Sneaks. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but
no, it's great. I'll tell you what, though.
I will never tire of listening to that.
I'll tell you what, though. My all-time favorite Spoon song is The Minor Tough on Series of Sneaks.
Nice.
So there you go. My favorite Spoon song is off of that record. But if I had to pick an entire record, it'd be Girls Can Tell. And then since Quentin named off 2, I'm going to name 2. So we can get some variety here. I think my second most collected artist is Steely Dan. I'm trying to buy
Ooh,
every Steely Dan record.
Awesome.
And I guess
What's
I could
your
talk
favorite
about
Steely Dan record?
I think mine's Pretzel Logic.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let me
or Gaucho. But yeah, we have our dad to thank for getting us into Steely Dan for sure.
It's definitely a dad band for sure.
Absolutely. Forever and always. It doesn't matter how long in the future we go. It's a dad band. What's
Steely
your favorite
Dan.
Steely Dan, Trav?
It would be, I think I'd go Gaucho as well. Or I feel like Asia is everybody's answer. So I'm not going to say Asia, but maybe probably a tie between Katie Lied and Gaucho.
Interesting.
There's some stuff on Katie Lied that's really, really good.
I've got a copy of that on vinyl, dude. I need to spin that up when we end this convo because I ignore it, dude. I haven't listened to it in years.
I love all of those. But
yeah, I like it for the guitar work. So
I go with the Royal Scam. That's mine.
Nice.
Ooh, I got that one too, and I haven't listened to it in 3 or 4 years.
Don't Take Me Alive to me is peak.
That's a great
Steely
one.
Dan.
That's a great one. So you were a Larry Carlton fan then?
Oh yeah.
If we were to chart like our musical journey, right, it starts with our dad, and he would play artists like Steely Dan, Sade, Gloria Estefan, like random stuff like that, and then he would play
Beach
the classic
Boys.
rock stuff like Zeppelin, Boston, the Cars, and stuff like that. So we got a really good, well-rounded, I feel like, musical upbringing from him.
He was a DJ in the 70s down in down in
Port Neches.
Port Neches.
No,
yeah.
Abilene. Yeah, he went to ACU, Abilene Christian University, and he was a DJ for a small radio station in Abilene. And then I think he also was a DJ in Galveston, I think, or maybe Houston.
Nice.
But anyway, it was, kind of.
It was a
of the
top
charts.
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sunshine FM, I think is what it was called.
Something like that. Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of, where it started for as far as like what we were hearing when we were kids. It was classic rock. And then some stuff like Gino Vanelli and Sade and stuff like that, where you kind of hear some jazz, you know what I mean? So we'd kind of get that nugget was in our brain from bands like that. So I think
we got some Getz and Gilberto in there.
Getz and Gilberto, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so we go from that to hearing grunge when we were a little bit older, when our brother started listening to music on his own and stuff like that. I feel like that when you know those two things, it makes perfect sense that that we like the kind of music that we like, right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Now, is there a specific album by Steely Dan or any other artist that you've purchased more than any other?
The only album that I said earlier that all I have is vinyl, but I was on a podcast briefly before we started No Filler where it was you have to bring either a vinyl or a CD. We're only going to play physical copies of music on this podcast kind of show. And I didn't have a copy of it at the time, but I purchased a CD copy of Girls Can Tell. So that's my answer. We're going back to Spoon again. Or Radiohead as well. I have a copy of Kid A on both vinyl and CD as well. So Radiohead's another big one for us. We're big Radiohead fans.
Travis, what about you? What one do you bought more than others?
I think I can answer for you, Trav.
Go ahead.
So I know you have a copy of Antidotes, right? On vinyl?
Foles, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to have that on CD, dude.
That's true.
So shout out to Foles.
Yeah, so Foles is like a math rock kind of band.
Yeah.
And not exclusively math rock, but they're like kind of our exposure, like our intro to math rock was this great band called Foles, and their record Antidotes is pretty solid. But yeah,
Excellent.
I don't think I really seek out like I have a specific answer for that. As far as like things I own a lot of, but I kept buying Gaucho every time I saw it, forgetting that I already had it. So,
well, Travis, you bought an extra copy of Pretzel Logic and shipped it to me.
But again, it's because I kept like I need to write this shit down because like I just have multiple copies of Steely Dan because every time I find one, I'm like, oh, I don't have that one yet, and it's like, oh, I do have it.
I work off a Google spreadsheet that I look at when I'm in the store to make sure because I would do the same thing. I would buy the same thing. And I wouldn't remember I had it.
Yeah. I try to use discogs.com to sort of keep a digital copy of it, but I don't think it's up to date. So
would you say that since your dad was a DJ, he probably has the largest vinyl collection of anybody you guys know, physical?
So I haven't seen his vinyl collection. I may have seen it once. It was stashed away in a closet when he lived in Plano. He lives in another house now. They moved to Scottsdale, and he finally got a music room set up in his current place, and he's got his record player out again. I haven't actually seen his record collection like properly displayed. Have you, Trev?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think
I've
know.
seen
it.
I don't know how big it is.
The size is
probably a good maybe 100. I don't know, 50
Probably
to
not-
100 records.
Not that impressive, really,
Yeah.
when you think about it. But I think you and I have probably surpassed it at this point. I'll tell you what, he has a ton of CDs. I remember that.
Yeah,
he has a bunch of CDs. But yeah, probably.
But
not
I think
as
that's because
staggering as you might think.
he jumped on the CD train as soon as it hit, and he was older at that time. And, for a while, vinyl was kind of dead, right? I mean, Bob, you would know more than we do about that because we grew up, we're at the age where it came back, right?
When CDs came out, I was in college when CDs really hit right after high school, college, and I jettisoned my vinyl because I thought obsolete. I need
our
CDs.
dad. I think our dad did the same thing.
So I'm rebuilding now. It's tragic, very tragic.
I know. I do have. I swear. I think this is my dad's copy. I think he gave it to me. He might. I might be wrong on this, but I have a copy of "Fragile" by Yes, and I'm almost positive it's our dad's copy.
Yeah, I know he had it on vinyl.
I want to say he gave me his copy, so I've got his copy of "Fragile."
So one more question for you guys: what is your favorite cover song?
Trav, you got to go first, man, because I need a second on this. That's
or
a
the
tough
first one that comes. To mind.
I got it. First one that comes to mind. Man, I gotta find it. So I heard this last year. It is a cover of "Weird Fishes" by Radiohead. Her name is Leanne La Havas. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation, but she dropped an album last year. It's a self-titled of the same name as herself, and she dropped this really great like jazzy R&B version of "Weird Fishes." It's something else. You got to hear it if you're a fan of Radiohead. It's great.
Awesome.
That's my answer.
Travis, what about you?
So I have one from last year as well that I stumbled upon. It's this band called Saint Karloff, and they appeared on a Best of Sabbath cover record, and they did Sleeping Village, and it was like they made it better somehow. Really, it was great. It was perfect. This band Saint Karloff, they're kind of like a bluesy metal kind of throwback to the Sabbath type of like hard rock metal, and it blew me away when I heard it. So I think I actually featured that on an episode, our Best of 2020 episode. Really good.
Check that out for sure. So how can folks follow No Filler and you guys on social media?
So we are on Twitter. That's the only place you can find us. So that's at No Filler Podcast. We're not very active on there, but we're ready to hear and read messages from people. But yeah, we encourage people to reach out to us on Twitter if they like have a record they want to hear us talk about, or if they have a song that they've been listening to a lot lately, because we have these monthly episodes called What You Heard, where it's kind of like a monthly mixtape. We each bring 5 songs to the table, and it's just a bunch of music, right?
Nice.
And we'll play listener submitted songs and stuff if somebody reaches out to us on Twitter or email or something like that. And then you can find our website. It's not up to date, but it's nofillerpodcast.com. The only reason I say that is because we have a contact form on there. If you want to reach out to us via that instead of Twitter, you can also do it there. That's nofillerpodcast.com, and that's really it.
Awesome.
We're also part of the Pantheon Podcast Network as well, which I know you've had guests on here in the past from Pantheon. Yeah, really great music-centered podcast network. So you can find us there as well, pantheonpodcasts.com.
Awesome. Thanks so much again for being on, guys. Really
thank you so much. This is great.
Thanks, Bob. We really enjoyed it.
Don't worry about it, guys. It's all in the mix.
Bye-bye, lard-ass.
Bend and Scoop is a production of Lukewarm Tallboy Studios.
We will return tomorrow morning with the sun.
Good evening, and have a good life.